So, welcome you guys. We are here in the new year, 2024.
Happy New Year.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
Yeah, it is. So, we got Jason as always,
Hello.
and welcome to our podcast. We got Itsury Lopez here for the first podcast of the year. Welcome, Itsury.
I'm excited.
I
Thank you.
know. Do you have any New Year's resolutions?
I do. They're mostly personal, I think.
Okay.
But other than that, we're, just getting ready to get up
Yeah.
there in the new year.
Definitely.
2024.
I
It's
know.
a karmic year. So everything that you've put into it beforehand, this is karma year. It's going to come back to
I
you.
learned that recently. It's because
Interesting.
it's an 8 year, so infinity sign.
Yep.
Oh.
Everything that you put in the prior years, it's coming back to you.
So 2023 is still going to haunt me.
Only if you think about it that way.
Just kidding.
So-
No, it wasn't a bad year.
Yeah. So that being said, we're here in the new year. We want to hear a little bit about what the new year market looks like. So, Itsury, how's the market?
The market is steady. I think, the end of the year was something really, really profitable for the buyers that were on the market, that got credits from the sellers, that got credits from builds, new builds, that got lower rates from them. So it was really, really good. And then, we got a huge rate drop. So that's bringing new buyers into the market, which we're all waiting for. So it's really good.
Yeah, yeah. And Jason, I know you hosted a couple open houses.
I had an open house this past weekend in Mount Washington. And, the house had been listed for at least 80 days. And what brought people in was there was a price reduction on the house. So they did it in December, but not a lot of people showed up. They didn't hold an open house. And over the weekend, I had a lot of groups come in. And what was great about it and promising, I love, is that a lot of new first-time home buyers were there that just wanted to get their feet wet, just started. It was like literally their first home that they saw. So it was a good opportunity for myself to,
Educate them.
exactly, and let them know like what's to come and how I can help them.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. And like kind of piggybacking off what you said, I think the market's really interesting because we've been battling high interest rates all of 2023. And then traditionally the holiday season, probably from about Thanksgiving to about Super Bowl Sunday is what I say. The market's on the holiday season, right? A little bit slower. But you combine that with the lower interest rate, it's basically the best time we've seen for buyers in a long time. It's the first time all year at a escrow in Pasadena. We closed it for $10K under asking.
Congratulations.
One in Southgate where we got about 7,000 in credits, even though it was as is. So it never hurts to ask.
Yep.
And then the current one in Alhambra, 55K in credits. So it's definitely a time to kind of tell your buyers about what the situation is. And
To go for it.
yes.
Be courageous and just go for it.
Yeah. I always tell them if they have the appetite to kind of fight through the holidays or, that there's really good opportunities out there because none of us really took a break. Just working straight through and serving the clients the best we can.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So speaking of clients, today we want to kind of talk about like how we best service them, right? We're not just in the business of like closing deals.
Transactions.
I kind of hate the word deals, because it makes it sounds like we're in sales, and we're not like, no offense to used car salesmen, but we're not like, a straight line selling
It's not
process.
an object, even though it is,
Right.
it's real estate, but it's not like you're buying a purse
No.
or shoes or a car.
Exactly. And real estate is really like a relationship business. They trust you with one of the biggest transactions of their lives. And it's not just about one, it's about going forward from that. So, we want to kind of hear about some of the relationships we built and how we go the extra mile for our clients. So, do you have a story that comes to mind, Itsury, when you talk about that subject?
I think for me, every transaction has been special from like the very first one. I'll never forget her. I picked up the call and the girl that I helped was fairly, not skeptical, but very, kind of shy and held back a lot of what she wanted to tell me. And it was during COVID. So every visit that we had to a house or from our original interview, she was always masked. She went to go see properties between her lunch and whatnot. But she did tell me at the beginning of the interview was like, I've been shopping for a home for over a year And I did ask her after we met if she had an agent. I don't think that's necessarily something important when we meet new clients because you're meeting them for a reason, right?
Right.
At some point, they're not happy with their clients or they don't feel comfortable with that agent that they're working with. So I asked on the second time, and she said like, yeah, but I just don't feel like a priority to him anymore.
Sure.
You know,
Right.
because she was looking for like a 350. It was a single girl, and I encouraged her. I'm like, for you to be qualified for 350 in California, that's a huge deal.
Yeah.
Like, high five to you. You know, you're independent. You're gonna do this by yourself. She had no help of parents, etc. So I'm like, that's something amazing to
It
feel
is.
very proud of.
It is. That's not a small amount of money.
No.
Especially with the cost of living here.
Exactly. And to have an agent make you feel that way, like, oh, you're less of a priority because your, purchase price is so low. I told her, you know what, let's just do this. I thank you for your trust and I applaud you for being courageous and keep going because during the market that we're in during COVID, it's just a given.
Right.
I know it knocked everybody up, but you just to keep going is a huge step forward.
Yeah.
So she did, and on the day that I gave her keys, she didn't have a mask anymore.
Oh.
She straightened her hair. She was wearing this cute little dress.
That's amazing.
She came up to me and I was like, oh my God. I'm like, you look so beautiful.
Oh, that's so
I'm
cute.
like, thank you. I just feel like a weight has been lifted and I'm so like happy and glad that you encouraged me, that we never gave up. And, I just have you to thank. And she gave me a card and I gave her a gift as well. But to me, the irony of it was her whole persona changed.
That's amazing.
She was no longer wearing the mask. She was so confident in herself. Like, that is just like the huge boost that she needed. And I was so glad to be that for her.
That's
to
amazing.
be like supportive
That's
in that
amazing.
aspect.
Yeah. I mean, when I think about the favorite parts of, because I love this job. And that's my favorite part. Like, key days are the best.
Right.
Like, you've gone through this whole journey, ups and downs. You don't know if you're going to make it. They don't know if they're going to make it. And when you finally get to, like, the culmination of all of that.
Like, we did it.
There was a family I work with. And I think we first met in December. And we finally found them one in June. I probably wrote about 30 offers for them.
Yeah.
And we saw so many houses, and they wanted to quit the search so many times. And it was for the full family. I think there were 6 of them. And when they finally found that house, it was the first time. There was a lot of moving parts. But when it came to key day, it was a pool. They always wanted a pool house. They always wanted a pool. And so when we came for key day, they all came in their swim trunks, like ready to just go straight into a pool with beach ball. And I knew this, so I had like a whole pool package for them, and they were just like, it was worth that whole time.
Yes.
And, there were moments they wanted to quit, and they would always say they felt bad about wasting my time. I said, you're not wasting my time.
Yeah.
This is the journey, We're not out here to, just
It's our job.
turn it over quick, we're not here just to, help you with this one transaction. I want to help your whole family for all the real estate needs going forward. And a lot of clients are like, sure you do, But then afterwards,
Christmas after Christmas.
yeah, they're like, wait a minute.
It's like, you're still here.
Yeah, so I mean, this last Christmas I went and I dropped off a very nice holiday package to their family, and they were also happy to see me, and I was happy to see them. And,
Yeah.
oh, this is such a beautiful part about kind of what we do.
Yeah, so I was thinking, it's very easy to disqualify someone and, be like, hey, your purchase price is $350. I'm not going to waste my time. There's not really much out in the market.
Go kick rocks.
Exactly. There's not a lot of agents out there that'll stick through 6 months to help a
Right.
family find their dream home.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I mean, that purchase price seems to be a big motivator to how hard that agent will try.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's fair,
Right.
Like every client, their amount that they have is precious to them, and they deserve as much attention. I mean, your story reminds me of one. I actually helped her in a similar situation. She was 54, lifetime renter, and she had just gone through a super difficult inheritance battle. With her sister, and there was like this big fight. So not only was she trying to grieve over the loss of her parents, she had to go over this crazy inheritance thing with her sister. And so on top of that, she just had the craziest stories, being a single woman, trying to make it out. She was living in Hollywood and just crazy roommate stories, landlord stories, and all she wanted to do was to have a safe place for her pets and her plants. That's all she wanted. That's all she wanted.
Not too much to ask for.
And so it was funny, we'd go see places and houses, and she would love to. Usually when you go to a house, you turn on all the lights, but she would request them to be all off. She would just like to sit there and feel the vibe.
Oh, interesting.
And so I would sit there with her. And initially I would leave because I thought she wanted to be alone.
Yeah.
And but she always had questions. She's like, "Oh, you could stay." So, if that's what you wanted and that's what was important to her, I was more than happy to do that for her. So, spent a lot of times having pretty intense conversations in very dimly lit rooms, which was an interesting situation. But when we finally found that perfect place for her, it was a little bit of a fixer, but it was really pretty mid-century modern, like condo in Pasadena, pet friendly. That was really important to her. A lot of good light. I mean, she just felt so safe, and she was so happy that day of keys. And we still talk weekly. She just shows me pictures of her house and what she's updating. And she wouldn't let me leave on the day of keys until I told her, like, what my beverage of choice was. Because she's like, I'm not going to let you leave until I can buy you a gift. And I said, you don't have to do that. This is my job. I'm more than happy to. She said, no. When my place is done, I want
we get you a gift.
Yeah. I was like, oh, thank you. So, she sends me weekly updates. She's like, when my place is done, I want you to come look at it. I want you to share in that journey. So
that's my favorite too. Whenever they do, upgrades or whatnot to their place. The girl did some updates. She changed flooring, ripped out carpet, etc. And she was like, "Look,
that's
and like
cute. Yeah.
she sent me a little video of her parents, like dancing in the living room after I left.
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh my God, this is amazing! Like this is so beautiful." But yeah, usually those are the most rewarding ones when you kind of like settle in and you don't even have to dig deeper. It kind of just settles into and they just sit there and this is going to be mine.
Yeah, and I know it applies to me and I know it applies to you guys. Once the transaction's complete, our journey together is not over.
Right.
I said you're going to have questions about home ownership, about what these letter ends, how do I fix this? And I said, you can call me anytime. And I'm sure you guys do the same, and we'll provide them with our network, we'll provide them with our contacts. And there was one where she had to find renters immediately. And I said, I'll help you with all the paperwork. Just let me know what you need to do. And it didn't make sense to her at the time. She's like, oh, you just want to close this deal. And it was a very difficult transaction. But, after we did, and I helped her with the renters, I'm still helping her now. I'm helping her with the other renters. We just found renters for it, and we did the application yesterday. And she's like, now I get it. Now I get what the philosophy here is.
Yeah. Sometimes you get a little pullback. I had this other client, too, with my lender, and she was on it. On it. A lot of questions. She would send me properties before even me getting to them. I have all of these I have open houses. Don't worry about it. I'll take care of it. Wow. And I'm like, oh my God. It was a little overwhelming. But she did warn me. She's like, I'm going to get like OCD about this. And I'm sorry. And
I like the forewarning.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, I'm more of the calm person in the transaction because it's my job to kind of mellow everybody out. But I'm here for you. Go to the open houses. Let me know if you like any. Don't speak to the listing agent. Give them my business card, and I will do the talking. She did follow that direction, thank God. But at some point, she made a comment to the lender about, Itsury doesn't get back to me fast enough, And I told the lender, I was like, look, she's kind of high energy up there. It's okay. Just let her be.
Right.
Well, are you sure? Because she's like, telling me all this. And I'm like, you know what? It's okay.
Right.
If she doesn't like me, she will go with someone else. But I need to control the situation.
Right.
Because this is my line of work, not hers. So I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I have her best interest at heart. So just leave it. It's okay.
Yeah. It's also respectable that you're showing up as your authentic self.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. You're creating healthy boundaries. You know, ultimately, you know, if you were the doctor and I was the patient, I'm not gonna want to tell you how to do your job.
Realtors are people too.
Yeah.
They're not machines.
So later on in the transaction, she sent me this huge, you know, paragraph, and she's like, "I'm so sorry, I overstepped some time.
yeah.
I'm so grateful that I found you. We found a property within like 2 weeks, got her into escrow, got her into fast closing.
Amazing.
Everything went out super, super smooth. She kind of mellowed out.
Nice.
So they realize it after.
Yeah, yeah.
They're like, okay.
But it's good that you kept
They've
your
got
cool,
it.
right?
Yeah.
Like imagine if you had maybe reacted in a different way.
Well, yeah, because you can't have someone, you know, pull you to
Right.
their, you know, it's just excitement.
Yeah,
For them,
yeah.
I take it
We're
as
the
that.
professionals.
Yeah,
We're the
yeah.
professionals.
I take it
and-
as that. Like when they get nervous, they have questions. I try to answer them as much as I can. But if there's just like a spike in it, I'm just like, okay, it's just excitement.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna let it cool off, and we'll touch base.
Awesome. Great job, Itsury. Yeah. Well, Jason, we had an interesting client, right?
Yeah,
last
absolutely.
year?
We're working with a client that, you know, has special requests. So she's a professional oboe player.
Nice.
She works for the Philharmonic along with her husband. And she actually makes her own reeds. So it's the little wood piece that they put in the mouthpiece.
Okay.
So she makes those herself, and at certain altitudes they don't function. So the higher the altitude, it's not good for her practice. So every home that we saw, like up in the foothills, Altadena area, you know, we had to make sure we talk. You know, those are the first questions we asked the listing agent, like, hey, you know, what's the altitude? I got very familiar with like altitude.com, and you know, for some of them, they were very strong contenders, but you know, we're not gonna dismiss the request and be like, hey, you know, you can get this property at this, you know, this could be your dream home, and you're gonna, you know, sacrifice your read for this. Like, I mean, it's very easy.
It's your livelihood.
Yeah, but if we you know, make sure to go out of our way and make sure it's the right altitude for
Now you're altitude
Yeah.
experts.
It wasn't a very common question listing agents probably got asked. You
Yeah,
know? So there was
And
a
I'm
lot
pretty
of cell
sure
phone
most of
pulling
them
out.
had no idea.
They didn't.
Yeah, who's this guy?
Yeah.
Altitude.
Yeah.
What is altitude?
So, I mean, what's important to our clients is important to learn, I think, in the beginning.
Yeah.
And to, like, facilitate that. But then I think you bring up a great point in also being the professional and showing up authentically and being that anchor, you know, emotional anchor in that transaction.
I think it's very easy to walk away from things like that and, you know, put it on the back burner, you know, and just like get to it when you get to it. But to challenge yourself and to really improve on your business by, you know, servicing your client to the highest possibilities, you know, great for growth.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, you're just doing the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like as long as
I like that.
you're not doing anything shady or anything like that, like you'll be fine with yourself, within yourself.
Yeah.
You know that you're doing the right thing.
Yeah, I love
Okay.
that. Yeah. Well, I think this was an excellent way to start off 2024, right? You know, in terms of like talking about ourselves and service and our
And we're going
clients.
back to karma. See, so you're just doing the right thing, and then it's gonna come back to you.
Yeah.
2024.
There you
karmic
go.
year.
There you go. So we keep that in mind.
2025. Work on 2024 for that.
I've been good the last years too. I don't need to work.
Yeah, but I know it's going to be a great year for all of us,
Absolutely.
for all our clients, and I know they're going to be in great hands. But if they wanted to know more about what type of service you provide at 3, how can they reach you?
Yeah, you can reach me at my Instagram that Daniel's going to put down below. Or you can reach me at my personal cell phone. It's going to be 626-363-3879. Yeah, I'm here to work with the most committed, hardworking people. I love that.
All right.
Excellent. Yeah, so they know what they're going to get.
Yes,
Yeah, they know what
exactly.
they're about. Well, do you have any last words for us, Jason, before we log off?
Thank you very much. I'm
Awesome.
glad we're keeping it going. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, at 3, thank you so much for being here. And yeah, we'll have you back again sometime soon, I hope.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.